welcome back to another powerful episode of Pleasure Principles, the podcast where we explore the intersection of mind, body, intimacy, and the power, and also how they shape the way we live, love, and lead. I'm your host Avik, and today we are diving deep with someone who truly embodies the transformation. So please welcome my guest, Angel Howard. So welcome to the show, Angel.
Thank you so much, Avik. I'm glad to be here, and I'm really looking forward to the questions you're going to ask me today.
Amazing, amazing. So definitely, I will discuss about a very, very important topic. But before that, I love to introduce you with all the listeners. Dear listeners, Angel is the founder of Wild Heart Expressive, host of the Upshift podcast, and the author of Issues in Your Tissues. So she has lived many lives, like professional dancer, corporate executive, retreat leader, and now a somatic movement therapist and executive coach.
Mm.
So from the Coca-Cola boardroom to the movement studio, she has been firsthand how our bodies carry the stories uh, words can't always tell, right? And how pleasure, presence, and power can be reclaimed when we learn to listen. So, why to wait? Let's get started. Welcome to the show again, Angel.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amazing. So, Ansel, would love to start with, like, as I mentioned, like, body carries our story. So, like you mentioned, body carries our story. So, even when we don't have the words for it. So, uh, how did you first realize the movement and sound could become a form of communication beyond the language? I mean, if you can share.
Wow. So that starts when you're born.
Uh,
We're humans, but we have the two sets of our brains. We have the limbic or the primitive, and then we have what separates us from primates, and that's the thought part of our brain in the front. But it's our limbic, our primitive brain that really drives us. It's our thinking brain that tries to guide us. So, learning how to read somebody's body language was a way of survival. Mothers, how they look at their children, they can tell when they're uncomfortable by the way they're squirming, by the way that they're screaming, by all of those ways that are nonverbal, right? And then in the world of just being a human, we discern so much of our environment, of the people around us
mm,
by how their bodies are talking to us at all times, whether we're totally conscious of it or not.
mm, got it. Lovely. And like I really love that because uh so often we think that communication means talking
Mm,
it out, but what you are saying is that like expression lives in the body. So
yes.
yeah, I mean that's definitely feels so freeing for people like who have struggled to articulate their needs or the feelings.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's great,
Yeah.
definitely.
So you say that the body, like the way you say it, carries our stories.
Mm,
So when we were first formed in the womb, how our mother feels about us, whether we were a wanted or unwanted child, whether she was struggling
mm,
during the pregnancy, that
yeah,
story literally gets lodged in our own cells. And this continues as we grow as children. Things that our parents say to us, things that other leadership position people say to us, what our brothers and sisters say to us, what our aunt says to us. I had a client one time who
mm,
became a beautiful dancer, but was told at 3 years old that she was clumsy and that she would never be able to walk a straight line. And she believed it. We believe it because when we're looking outside of ourselves for who or what we are as children, we're learning who we are in this new environment. We
mm,
take in all this input. And if there's negative input, we believe it. It becomes a story in our body and we can't break it. We
mm,
can't just think our way out of it. You literally got to retrain your body and then retrain your brain, the neural pathways that made the body that way. You're talking about the mind body
mm,
connection. Well, they're super connected. Whatever happens in the body ends up in the brain. Whatever happens in the brain ends up in the body.
Lovely. Yeah. So, like in your work, like you often tie movement to the healing. So, I'd love to ask you, like, how can something as simple as breathe, sound, or dance begin to unlock that deeper truths in someone's life?
Okay. Well, I
Mhm.
always try to make it very simple. I do come from a science background. There's so many neurobiological ways to explain this, but simply, we sit in our culture nowadays. We sit, we're on the computer, our heads are down, we're looking at phones. We stay in the same position more nowadays than we ever had as a human race.
Mm.
When you do that, just like water, just like anything else, we get stagnant. The everything about us gets stagnant and stiff and achy and creaky and
Mm.
definitely inflexible because you just train your muscles to be in one place. So how movement, how getting into your body, how breathing, first of all, brings your awareness, that brain, brings your awareness into your body to find out, oh my goodness, it's suffering. When you stay up in your head, which we all are, we stay up in our head so much, we ignore all the messages, all the stories, all the warning signs and the alerts that our body's giving us, starting out subtly, then getting stronger and bigger and ends up in bigger disease, bigger things happening. That's why we try to catch the messages early. But this is how our mind body works together. And it is the movement that brings awareness and also moves these stories,
Mm.
the trauma out of the body.
Yes, true. Very true. Wow. I mean, do you think that people can practice this alone, or is it like most powerful, like when witnessed by others?
Both, both. Absolutely by yourself. It takes a little bit if you've never just moved by yourself. I have videos. I have a YouTube that make it very easy. In my book, Issues in Your Tissues, QR codes, you can go in the privacy of your own home and move with people on the video to the different elements and chakras that I teach about. And I use what I call the chakra mental system that I created because it simplifies for people the different areas, the chakras, and what mind and emotional things are connected to those particular areas.
Mm.
So you can start to ask your body the questions once you realize that there's dis-ease or non-ease or some sort of quirkiness, pain, tightness, something that's getting your attention once you're in your body, you can start to ask the questions. And then I use the elements to come in like remedies for these problems. Once you figure out simply, let's simple thing, you're angry, you're really quick, you're like a hot button. People say, "Man, you're like a hot button." Well, that means you probably have too much fire going on. You're fanning the flames of anger, something inside. And this area, our heart chakra area, holds the flame, our passion. And I say fire flowing is passion. When you're allowed to let your passion flow, you're happy. But when something or somebody blocks your fire, they tell you can't do something, be quiet, tamp it down, or you get turned down or rejected, your fire's blocked. Well, then that becomes a pressure cooker and turns into the hot buttons, the explosive. So then you're walking around like, just dare me to explode. And that's not very good for your own, personal culture and what you're around. But how you get rid of that is to let the fire burn. So I use African music. I use the drum, the beating of the heart, the rhythmic pounding of pumping different parts of your body, of moving that fire through. We can't always go and scream into a pillow, but we can
Mm.
we can bump and grind and have a little fun just to move it out. Part of this is letting the fire, let's say the element or the anger, the passion, know you see it. I know you're there. I recognize you. I see you. And
Mm,
sometimes just that alone can help that anger subside. So it's really about awareness, touching it, and then doing something about it, letting it express,
exactly.
expressing what's depressed, expressing what's suppressed. Expressing it is like letting it out.
True. Very true. Wow. And really, it's powerful because it suggests pleasure, healing, and obviously, like healing aren't always about fixing something, about but also allowing ourselves to be seen, felt in new ways. So yeah, yeah,
Yes.
lovely, lovely, and also at the same time, like many leaders like they operate from the neck up, like logic, data, strategy, and all. So how do you help the executives drop back into their bodies without feeling like it's kind of woo woo thing?
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
Love that. I walk the world of the mundane and the woo woo all the time, but I try to speak in the I hate to say the normal, typical, neurotypical world, so it's understandable. And that's why I use the chakras. The chakras are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're just areas of the body. There's no mystery about that. The elements, water, wood, fire, wind, those naturally occurring elements, metal, that's easy as a remedy. So it's not woo-woo, it's fun. It gives you a vocabulary that's not woo-woo. It's not so ethereal, it's, like, so hard to grasp. It's no another example, a client of mine couldn't walk a straight line across the room without her eyes going in different directions. She was so distracted. Again, a neurodivergency, whatever, put any kind of label on it. And I said, "You need more metal in your life." Metal
Mm,
that discerns, goes from point A to point B. It's a thought process. It's a way to bring an element in. So metal cuts the chase. It has commitment, dedication, intentional discipline. It's not no element is the end all be all, but the balance of them. And to this day, she has changed her entire bank account around because she made it her goal to make money and stop giving herself away and being kind of mamby-pamby about who and what she's worth. And she got very clear, focus, clarity, those things that we need in our life. That's not woo-woo. We need focus and clarity. Let's talk about metal. You don't have to like speak about it in the lunchroom, let's say, but you can think in your head, I'm really foggy today. I need some more metal. And you know what you do to get it into your body so that your brain understands? You make a decision. You're sitting there, let's say, in the break room, and you're like, "Wow, I'm really out of it. Let me get up, walk straight to the coffee machine, get a cup of coffee, and walk back to my
mm,
table." In that one simple physical act of getting up, going to point A, and returning to point B,
mm,
it brings in that principle and things start to shift in your awareness, and you're able to start to focus and commit and dedicate. You just you work you work the issue, you work it, and you continue to do that maybe during the day. I'm gonna do one thing at a time
yeah.
to bring in that focus and clarity.
Wow. Ooh, amazing. Wow. Lovely. I mean, I mean, one more thing. Like, have you found that like how do I put like once leaders reconnect with the body, it changes the way they lead others. And
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, thank you for saying that. I do have a new book coming out that's about what's messing with your messages, and I just put together a signature talk about communication for
okay.
leaders. In fact, we have a working title. It's called communication, the real currency of retention and leadership, which, do you know that old saying? People don't leave the job, they leave the boss. It's
Yes.
so it is about your ability to communicate with your staff, with your employees, with the same level, upper level, lower level, whatever it is, to at the end of the day, I call it the end game. The end game is to impact action,
Mhm.
positive action, but to grow and support from within. So being able to get into your body as a leader, it's in here that you can feel and see. It's
Mm.
where your intuition lies. Your intuition's not so much in the head as it is in the body. And
Exactly.
when somebody walks in the room, when your employee walks in the room to do a assessment of their work, and you can see, we can all see, that's that primitive brain. I come back to that. We know by the way they're walking in subliminally that they're not in a space to talk. And therefore, a good leader would see that. You'd ask the question. I'm always ask the question, how are you doing today? Is this a good time for us to have this discussion? Give them the power. And they're like, really? It's not. I almost had a wreck. My dog died. Whatever it is, they're distracted. You're not going to get the best out of them. Reschedule. That's good leadership. And it shows your employee that you care about their well being more than just their numbers on a piece of paper.
Yes. Very well said. And I really love that. I really love that. I mean, that's a sweet spot. I mean, leadership uh, that isn't just about the performance matrices, but about the embodiment, creativity, presence, and like you said, well-being. I mean, that's where real influence happens. So, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. And also, one more thing. I mean, when we talk about this, then if you don't talk about the taboo, so uh, pleasure often feels taboo in the professional spaces as well. So, uh, why do you think like so many people fear connecting pleasure with the work or the leadership?
Okay. So, in the corporate workplace, I guess everybody feels like they're in a box.
Yeah.
But if you're connected with your joy, I was just talking to an addiction specialist about replacing the pursuit of pleasure
Mm.
to the pursuit of joy. Difference being is the pursuit of pleasure is whatever it takes to get it going, right? To
Mm.
get you going. It's almost an addiction, but joy is that simple delight. Joy is that simple delight, and there's nothing, in fact, there's everything right about connecting to your joy. Bringing joy to the workplace. How simple is it? How simple is it? When you cross paths with somebody who's having a good day, you cross paths with somebody who's smiling, it goes, "Hey, Joe, how's the new baby doing?" That kind of stuff. That person feels joy shows also in the corporate world that you're confident. Being able to connect with your joy is a show of confidence in who you are and that you believe in you. And it becomes like a magnet. And everybody else starts to believe in you once you believe in yourself, connecting to joy, connecting to your confidence. People who are joyful are confident people. You want to be around those people. So that in the workplace is paramount, paramount.
Mm. Lovely. Yeah. And like also if someone listening feels stuck or maybe disconnected from their body, their pleasure, or their power, so what's the very first small step you would suggest they take today?
Okay, that's simple.
Mhm.
What's your favorite song? What's your favorite song?
Mhm.
Whether it's a sad song, like if you're going through a breakup, It's like, what's the boohoo song that you listen to? Listen to that song, stand up, close your eyes a little bit, let the tears run,
Mm.
and move. Let your body do what it wants to do. It may be something completely surprising.
Okay.
Again, in the privacy of your own little bedroom, your own house, shut the door, shut the windows, put some music on.
Mm.
I mean, if you wanna, like, headbang, if you wanna shake it off, if you just had the weirdest, worst day or got the worst phone call you could ever get, just stand up and start shaking it off, moving the body. When we stop, when we hit a wall or a speed bump and we stop in space, we freeze, which that's a typical thing in the fear program. When we freeze, that thing that happened, that fear, that feeling stays there.
Mm.
So this is like your chance to shake it off, like a dog shakes water off. Like, you pet your dog too much and they're like, "Okay, that's enough," and they shake. They kinda gotta get their energy back.
Yeah.
So moving the body however your body wants to, but to ask and answer. Ask your body, "What do you want right now? Do you wanna cry? Do you want to feel sensual?"
Mm.
Say you haven't felt sensual, you haven't given yourself self-care in a long time. If for I mean, I don't know that men love to take baths, but for women, you draw a nice hot bath,
Okay.
a warm bath with salts, make it into a magical bath, light candles.
Mhm.
Or even in the evenings, guys can do this. Light a
Mhm.
candle, lower the lights, fix yourself a nice meal. These things of self-care get you back into your body and out of your head,
Mm.
which is making things worse most times,
Okay.
and then let your body express it.
Amazing. That's really amazing. And how might that single practice ripple outward into their relationships or the leadership? If you can.
Oh my goodness. Well, it is the it's like, when I don't wanna call it a virus, but it's like it's catching. We can't have relationships with others until we really have that relationship with ourselves.
Okay.
I mean, in relationship 101, if you're empty or you need something or needy or there's some hole or something that you need to feel good about yourself that's outside of your body,
Okay.
and you try to find that within another human, that's a formula for disaster, absolute disaster, because no one or nothing can fill that hole or need that's within you. And you've got to have that relationship with yourself first. And it starts with getting down into your body, out of your head. And if that's even a hard concept, close your eyes and breathe. And just for this slightest moment, take huge breaths and feel your ribs moving in and out,
Mm.
your stomach moving in and out. Once you do that simple step, you will go down into your body. And then find those places that are disrupting your relationships, disrupting your ability to speak clearly to your employees. Because if we're going through stuff emotionally, everything that comes out of our mouth, unless you're really, really evolved, gets laced with that emotion, whether you like it or not. So it's best to take care of those emotions and those things before you go outward into relationships, into meetings. It is best to take care of those things within you. And that makes a good partner and a good leader.
Amazing. Wow. And that's so grounding because starting with the simplest acts of awareness, it it really reminds us that pleasure isn't somewhere out there. It's something we can reclaim it right now in this body.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, Angel, thank you so much for such a deeply, deeply embodied and liberating conversation. And I would say, like, you have shown us that pleasure isn't kind of frivolous. It's fundamental. So,
Yes,
uh,
essential.
yeah, it's essential. Yeah, and I mean, it's how we reconnect with our power, our truth, our humanity. So, that's really lovely. And for all the listeners, if you're listening right now, maybe you'll be listening later. What would change in your life if you listened to your body more deeply, like honored your inner yes and no, and allowed pleasure to guide your choices? So definitely, I invite you to reflect and to the experiment for sure. Do let us know what you think on our social media platforms. Would love to know your perspectives. And before we move, Angel, if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium to connect?
Very simply, angelhoward.co. Everything's there. I have retreats, speaking. You can hire me to speak, or there you can. Well, I just got. They can connect with me, um, and just have a 15-minute discovery call. See if we can do some work together. But the and buy my book, the new book, The Issues in Your Tissues on Amazon.com, and keep an eye out for the new book, What's Messing with Your Messages. Join the email angelhoward.co. Join the email, and you can keep up with me and all things that'll be coming out in the end of 25 and 26.
Amazing. Lovely. So, dear listeners, what I'll do is I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference. And um, with this hope, this has been Pleasure Principles. I'm your host, Avik. And until next time, honor your boundaries, reclaim your power, and remember your body is the most honest guide that you have. So, thank you so much.